like we said, let's talk about a previous New York Giant here. Daniel Jones. We thought we were done talking about Daniel Jones, but nope, never quite done. He has signed on now with the Colts. It's been a little bit of a battle here for Daniel Jones over the last couple of days here. Once Sam Darnold was rumored to be going to the Seahawks, which let's be honest happened before yesterday. The rumor started the second Geno Smith got traded over to the Raiders there. The word was that the Vikings wanted to keep Daniel Jones, and they wanted to pair him with J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, J.J. coming off of a major injury. You never know what's going to happen there. But the Colts wanted him too. And the Colts have their own interesting situation because you look at what's going on with the Colts. They got Anthony Richardson, who looked pretty good at his rookie year. Looked absolutely horrendous his second year in the league. Ridiculously low completion percentage. One point when the game was on the line, asked to come out because he was tired. The quarterback was tired. And I think Daniel Jones looked at this scenario and said, this is a guy I can beat out. This is a guy I can get time on the field with. This is the guy I could beat out in camp, potentially. Whereas, let's be honest, he's not beating out J.J. McCarthy. And that's not even to say J.J. McCarthy's any good. It's that Minnesota drafted that kid in the first round. They have to give him a shot to play and see what he is. No one knows that better than Daniel Jones, who got to play for way too many years because he was a first-round pick. But they're going to have to let JJ, the second he's healthy and they believe he's ready to go, step onto the field and see what he can do. Meanwhile, the Colts have now seen what Anthony Richardson can do. And they're not too impressed with the last year. Like, he's on the verge of losing that spot and then moving on, I feel like. And Daniel Jones, listen, Giants fans, we know him all too well, obviously. Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. But what Daniel Jones can do is he could potentially start for you for a year, half a year, whatever, while you're figuring out what you want to do. Because the Colts are not in a position to draft a quarterback. The Colts are not in, at least not in the first round, I should say. The Colts are not in a position where they are looking at one of the bigger free agents this offseason either. They were going to look at a Sam Darnold. They're not going to look at one of those kind of guys. They were going to trade for a Geno Smith. They still want to see what they have in this quarterback. So Daniel Jones gives them that insurance policy. Absolutely gives them an insurance policy there. It's a good signing for him. 1 year, $14 million. And like I said, he gets a chance to beat somebody and potentially take the starting job. It's good for the Colts as well because we also have the Colts now have the ability to go ahead and have someone on there that can start if Anthony Richardson isn't good. But let's be honest, if you're Anthony Richardson, are you really scared of Daniel Jones taking your job? Like, really? Daniel Jones? Again, not trying to be rude. Daniel Jones is a guy we have a lot of respect for in the show because he worked his butt off for the Giants for a lot of years. He may not be a good quarterback, but you can't say it's a lack of trying. But Daniel Jones is not a guy that if I'm a quarterback that has a starting job that I may not be able to keep, I'm not going to sit there like, oh my God, Daniel Jones is in town. Nike. I could be losing my job here. I would feel pretty secure still. And I think given the situation we talked about earlier where like literally the game was on the line and Anthony Richardson's like, I have to come out of the game. I'm tired. I would say that shows to me a very low ability to deal with adversity. If you put in a guy who actually could beat him out, there would have been some potential problems for him. Daniel Jones is a guy who's not going to beat him out right off the bat, at least. He may over time spell him. I think Anthony Richardson will probably start the season, and I think they'll be shown how bad he really is. And I think eventually Daniel Jones will take that job. And it's more of an ability to just go ahead and kind of say, okay, we're done. We're moving on. But I want to be clear about one thing with Anthony Richardson, and I hate to back the guy to a degree because of what he did last season as far as, again, asking to come out of a game because he's tired. As the leader of the team, first off, you never do that. That's inexcusable, point blank. But a lot of the problems they're having right now are the Colts' fault. We all knew he was coming out as a project. He was a project quarterback. He's the guy who had to sit for a year or two. And instead, they threw him out there. Threw him out there. If they were smart, they would have sat him for a year. If they were smart, they would have done that. Instead, they threw him out there. He has some success early on. Gets hurt. Now he goes into the first full year starting. Loses his job to Joe Flacco for a while and all. Has all kinds of issues there. Has a ridiculously low completion percentage. And now you're looking at year 3 going, oh, do I even want to keep this guy? Is he our starter? That's not the Colts, point blank. If you had sat him and let him actually develop, he'd be coming in probably this year as the new face of the franchise, as a guy who sat down for a couple of years and learned behind a guy like a Joe Flacco, like they brought in, last year, or a guy like Gardner Minshew, the guy they brought in the year before. And he would have had a chance to learn behind those guys, truly learn behind those guys, while not killing his confidence. I look at him and I think he's a guy whose his confidence is absolutely destroyed at this point. And that's why I do think Daniel Jones will take that job. And I do think it's why Daniel Jones knew he should take that job. It's a smart job for him to take. Much better shot to go ahead and take that, starting job away from Anthony Richardson than from J.J. McCarthy. So, best of luck to him. Honestly, I know we've kind of vented our frustrations on him many times on this show. And I do think that a lot of people have that are Giants fans, let's be honest. But when it boils down to it, he's a good guy. He's worked his tail off. And like I said, I hope all the best for him. I truly do. I hope everything works out for him. I hope he has a nice long career. To a certain degree, selfishly, I hope he never fully figures it out so we don't look stupid for letting him go. But listen, after so many years of being a Giant, I think I'm pretty confident that's not going to happen. So
if you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please.